joy. Can't imagine life without him. He is the light of our life. I've gone from fear to displaying the bumper sticker somebody sent me that said, my kid has more chromosomes than your kid. I know that the world maybe won't be competing for Trig, but he's my boy. I get him. See, what God told me was he does only have his best for us. He blesses us with what it is. Maybe we think we can't handle it because we don't know what a true gift is. He gave me Trig to show me what his true gift, his true love is. And Trig, he does teach us more than we'll ever teach him. This child wakes up in the morning and he starts applauding the day. It's like he wakes up and rubs the blur and sleep out of his eyes and he starts applauding the day. And I look at him and I'm like, yes, Lord, that's what I want. I want more of that, which you gave him. He's a wonderful, wonderful. So anyway, back to the press though. Oh, and some of the things that they say about Trig. Oh, I tell you, I just want to punch these guys in the gut. Though I know that is inciting violence, so I can't say that publicly. But some of these reporters. I mentioned that it took me a long time to get my arms wrapped around being pregnant. It took me so long. I didn't tell anybody till I was 7 months. And I know that other people, around me, my staff, they were probably like, she's getting kind of chunky there, but we won't say anything. You're in Alaska, it's wintertime, you just pile on more fleece coats. It's kind of chilly in here. Put on another coat. Getting bigger. 7 months. And then Trig came really early. And I know it sounds crazy. I was out of town keynoting an oil and gas conference in Texas. Todd was with me. I did my speech, literally walked off the stage. Governor Rick Perry from Texas, he was MC, and he says, Governor Palin, don't tell us you're going to run off and have that baby right now, are you? And I'm like, I am. As I'm walking out the door, and I had the baby that night, but we made it home to Alaska to have the baby. Because Todd says he loves Texas, but you can't have a fish picker born in Texas. So, because it all happened kind of quickly, and I had just told people a couple weeks before that I was pregnant, and some of these reporters to this day say, wait a minute, she was only pregnant 2 weeks, there's no way this child is hers. And we call these people, we call them the Trig truthers. Because they're still out there today reporting that Trig isn't my son. And that's why I'm beyond scratching my head as to what are these media folks thinking? What kind of fantasy land do they live in? And that's just one thing that we go through in the press. And at first, it really did bother me that it's like, don't you dare make me prove it by showing you my stretch marks. You don't want to see that. But yes, he's my son and I gave birth to him. But that was kind of an exhibit A. And then at that same time that I was pregnant, found out the baby would have Down syndrome, and very, very busy as the state's governor. And at that same time, my son won too many hockey injuries. He hangs up his hockey skates, and he's 18 years old, and he enlists in the United States Army as an infantryman. And he gets sent to Iraq for his year of deployment. And that, of course, changed my perspective on national security and respect for military and what it is that our military men and women deserve, the benefits, the sacrifices they make, so the benefits that they earn, let's fulfill the promises that we make to them. So that's all going on in my life. That was kind of exhibit B, dealing with my firstborn, my son, going off to war. About that same time, exhibit C would be my teenage daughter comes to me, my good girl. My daughter, who's working very hard and playing basketball and youth group, she's, the governor's daughter, so she's so busy, I'm thinking she's too busy to be doing anything else. And she comes to me and to Todd, and she says that she's pregnant, teenage girl. And there again, our world stops spinning. And Bristol, though, has made the decision, of course, to be responsible for her son, not looking to others to take care of this beautiful, beautiful child, Trip, but what she has gone through, and it was all played out on the cover of the National Enquirer because she was the governor's daughter going through this this unwed teen pregnancy as if she was the only girl in America to have ever gone through what she went through. And talk about the hypocrisy in the media in that situation. It's like these reporters in Hollywood and New York, they all went out and they got this morality transplant or something because, oh, Bristol Palin, just this pregnant teenage daughter of a governor or what. But Bristol, she kept her head up and chose life for her son and tripped to the most beautiful, precious gift. And then the things that Bristol has learned and been able to share with others, but what the media does to that then is they kind of accuse her of being a hypocrite because, well, she did what she's telling other girls they shouldn't do, and she's like, yeah, I am. As she's saying, I want to just save them from pain. Tripp is the light of her life, but she's saying, I wish it would have happened 10 years from now. Once I was married, once I had education and some job experience under my belt, and then have a child. And she says it's kind of like maybe a lung cancer patient who goes out there and tells people, beware of smoking. You don't want to smoke or you're going to end up in a situation that you didn't plan for. Well, Bristol's doing the same thing with her message, and it's a simple message. She's not trying to institute some kind of sex ed policy for the rest of the country. She's just telling teen girls, she's saying, if you don't want to get pregnant, there's only one surefire way to make sure you don't get pregnant, and that's to not have sex before you're married. And she's telling girls this. And she's taken a lot of heat for telling girls this. And Bristol, what she went through in even telling us, she wrote a book called Not Afraid of Life. And in that, I read a paragraph of, and I stopped and I said, Bristol, is this true? She said, you gals who have babies know how hellish labor is, so painful. She said, telling my mom and dad that I was pregnant was more painful than going through labor. I'm like, oh, bless her heart. But, she knew that we would be disappointed because her adolescence was prematurely cut short because of a decision that she made, but things have turned out well, and Bristol has been one to try to express to others that you learn your lessons, God brings you through, and then you're in a circumstances around you where you can help encourage others. Now, around all that time, though, and this is all a really short period of time where it's kind of like one thing after another where our little world would stop spinning for a minute or two. Around that time, I get a phone call asking if I'd accept the nomination for Vice President of the United States of America. And I say, well, nothing else going on? Sure, let's go. You betcha, let's go. So we're out there on the campaign trail and, I'm thinking, okay, there's pieces of this puzzle that are coming together that have allowed us to be able to connect to more Americans and what it is that they go through with challenges and perhaps some encouragement that they want as they ask us, how does your anchor hold? We're going to be out there telling them about our faith. Yes, there were people on the campaign trail. One of the very first interviews that my mom and dad gave after I was selected, some reporters ran up to Alaska and just inundated our little tiny town of Wasilla, inundated. They're on my parents' lawn and on their doorstep, and my dad's given this interview, and my mom's given an interview to big media outlets, and a guy on our campaign staff said, you need to call your parents and tell them to quit talking about God and quit talking about hunting because nobody else understands this stuff. And I'm like, but that's who we are. That's who we are. Well, on the campaign trail, one night we're heading out there on the national stage. 44 million people are going to be watching the VP debate. I'm going to be debating Senator Joe Biden. And like with anything big in life, you got to pray about it. You want divine inspiration, you want favor, you want grace before you tackle what's in front of you. So before I go out there on stage as the cameras roll, I got to pray about this and I got to find somebody because, we're two or more gathered. So I'm looking for somebody to pray with. Nobody on the campaign staff seemed real gung-ho about joining hands and praying. But Piper, my little girl Piper, she was there. She was in a corner of the green room. So I go over to Piper and I said, Piper, let's pray together because this is big. It's a debate. It's a competition. And I want to win. God says we can pray for victory. I said, and trying to keep it simple for Piper, I said, pray that I win. Pray that God speaks right through me. And she says, God speaking through you, that'd be cheating.